Yo guys, what is up? Welcome back to Green Oasis, and now I'm going to do a little bit of terrarium building. And as I tell you that I'm going to do something like this, I'm going to use a Terrabase, which I bought recently. This is by DOA. So I'm going to create a mossy-like, and I'm going to put some goosette. You know, this is just a few. I don't have too many, so I'm gonna give it a try and see how it goes. And I also bought this. This is the Gravia. It's really awesome. Really been waiting to get this for a while. So I finally managed to get this one. Yeah, I'm gonna let it trail up from here, just like a tree bark in the wall. And I'm gonna put it in enclosed because this is gonna be an enclosed and to keep the high humidity. All right, let's get started. Let's do this. I'm very excited to show you. First of all, my moss. So I got a few moss here. And of course, I've got to kind of, just keep it ready for this project. So, what I'm gonna do right now, I also have a thread. So I'm gonna use a thread to wind it around here. I think it will be pretty exciting to see how it turns out. So for the plants, I just open up. This is Java moss, and it came with comes with this coconut husk. So I'm going to take it out, and I'm going to put it inside in the Terrabase. So this is what they usually come up with. Right, so I've taken out these moss from the coconut husk, and the first thing you need to do is actually need to wipe it down, water the Terrabase to soak them out a little bit, because it's easy for you to put on the moss, and the moss will be, that's the best for, so you want to dry out basically for the moss. So what I'm gonna do is you can actually lay it down here and get a few of these. You can just spread it out easily. You can actually do this. Spread them out, and then use any thread or tie. I mean, they sell the Terra by DOA, but I think it's really expensive, so I'm not gonna use that. Even though they say it's meant for this kind of thing, but I think it's quite expensive, so I didn't really want to get it. It's about $19–20 in here. It's about maybe $12 US, so I think it's kind of expensive. So I'm just going to use my own a thread, cotton thread, and if this disintegrate, I will try to do it again. So there you go, something like this. So I'm just gonna tie it. And you probably want to leave a little bit of gap in between, let's say about an inch in between when you're doing the thread around these moss. In the end, you probably want to tie them up. Okay, so guys, once I'm done with this part here, as I wrap around here, I can actually turn around and then do for the other part, for the other side, which I already taken out. Same thing, same process. Just make sure that you cover. You don't need to cover everything, but eventually the moss will outgrow these, and then you probably have to trim them down, and then you can actually propagate them again, and then so don't need to cover them everything. Alright guys, you can see now it's complete. I've covered most of the moss surrounded the Terrabase. This is how it looks. So actually the setup is actually pretty easy, very easy. I just might maybe do a little bit of maintenance. Later on I'm going to add in some of the plants in there. I think that's the most fun part of all, is adding some of the plants. You may not use all the moss, but sometimes you might want to cover that up with some of the plants, because sometimes it's not easy to get all the moss, and the moss ain't cheap, by the way. I got this for like $8. I think some place might be cheaper, but it's hard to get a huge chunk of moss. I think you probably need to go to the farm or something. But anyway, I managed to get it. So before adding any of the plants, I think I will decided I want to add in a bit of wood, you know, have a little contrast, or a little organic, solid feel to it, rather than just plants. I'm going to add in the wood here. I think it's going to look good. It gives me an idea when I was looking at some YouTubers were doing something like that. I think that's really awesome. Instead of just putting plants around, I think I'm going to add in this one. It's going to turn out really well. There you have it. Just attach a wood. I think it looks pretty solid. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Coming out from there, I think it looks really nice. And now is adding the plant. Okay, so you can add any other kind of plants. I think I'm going to add in Magravia. This is Magravia. It's not cheap. Magravia is not easy to come by. It's actually a specialized plant. This is Magravia umbellata red. So when there's enough light or when there's a good environment, this is going to turn red, really nice. And most of these plants actually, you don't need really, high light. They need just bright light, not indirect light. And so I think it makes perfect for terrarium. And for those thinking that, oh, I need to get a really expensive light, you don't need that. So I think a 5-watt light is fine for this setup. Okay, so I'm gonna add in this one here. I decided this is one of my favorite plants. I wanted this for a long time, and I finally get it. Now it's just to attach this. So this one, I'm gonna use a sphagnum moss because it requires soil, but I have no soil here, so I'm gonna use a sphagnum moss, which is ready come with this one, and then just let it do its thing. And I can propagate once it's growing a bit longer. Okay, so I've used my sphagnum moss, wrap it around the roots just to maintain the moisture, and then I cover it with the green, another live moss, the green moss, so it looks nice. It doesn't look too brown right in this area. And it's pretty easy. Just hopefully keep my finger crossed that everything will work out. You can see that the roots is already start to form, so I think it's gonna slowly attach to this. I'll keep you guys update and see what's happening to this setup, whether it works. Hopefully it does. Okay, so anyway, pro tip, if you don't have any glue, if you're using a thread, you can actually start it from the top here, gently press it down and hold it, because there's a, you can hold it here, and then just slowly wrap around. Yeah, not too hard, just wrap it around here. You can see how I do it. And the thread will actually mold towards, you will just stick to the moss pretty easily. I mean, that's how I do it, so it works for me. So I don't know, you can have your own method, but I think to me that's probably the easiest. Don't have to use any glue. So gently and be patient. Okay, there you go. And this is what I have. This is how it looks. You can see it creeping out from here. Hopefully that it will grow a bit longer, and then I can propagate and cut, and then I'll add in some more of these just to cover up a few. Okay, so I got my Bucephalandra. Bucephalandra is actually aquatic plants, but you can grow them immersed. Just make sure that they're enclosed. So this has to be enclosed. I'm just going to take a few out from here because they're actually pretty sensitive when they're immersed. So I'm going to try out and see. I'm not going to use most of them. I'm going to use a few, just attach and then see how it goes. So I'm probably going to cover up some of these parts here. Yeah, so yeah, almost done. Looking pretty good. Okay, setup is pretty easy, I would say. Just need a little bit of patience. The only thing I don't really like, I think it's a bit tedious, is to tie. You have to tie the knot and everything like that. I find that takes a bit of time. But other than that, I think yeah, everything is pretty easy. So you can get a few of these cuttings. Just put a few in there around, because you don't need to take the whole chunk of them. And the rest you can actually keep them for future projects or something like that. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put a few here just to give a little bit of contrast to this setup. I can even put it here if you want to, but no, I think I will. Yeah, I probably put some near the moss. So it's done. So in the future, maybe let you know the updates, how it's getting along. I got two of my Bucephalandra right here, and then in this area, I just decided to put in the wood. I used the glue instead because I think it's not easy to keep that attached with the thread. So I use the glue, and yeah, and in the future I'll be adding some more plants. I'll be adding Anubias, which is, you can do that too, and just always make sure you top up the water. I always remember that you need to top up the water from here, and going to be enclosed, and I can't wait to see how it looks. So now I'm going to put it in my DOOA. So Biolog, yeah, the one that I did a review. I'm actually using the aquarium water because it's more seasoned. It's much better for you know, the moss. I'm gonna add it all the way to the top. Okay, with the lights on. So usually I'll be using USB. Okay, look at this. Oh, the light just went out. Yeah, so I'm using USB, my power bank, but I mean, I'm just testing it out. I can use any other. Later I'll be attaching to proper light. So I'm just gonna show you how it looks. I'm just pretty happy with it at the moment. I think it looks alright. It looks alright. I think it's a bit too dark. I'm not so sure whether it is the light, but yeah, I think overall I think it's okay. It's the moss. So far it's not a problem because the moss doesn't really require much highlight. So, and then there's a vent here. You can actually open up to release the moisture out, or if it gets too moist. But that is it. Thanks for watching, and if you do like, if you want to see me doing some future project, if you do like, give me the thumbs up. I'll see you guys in the next videos.